For the past 9 months, NBC4 is demanding change after the deadly fireball accident at the Ohio State Fair. Good evening. I'm Mike Jackson.
I'm Colleen Marshall. 18-year-old Tyler Jarrell was killed when a piece of the fireball ride broke off, sending riders flying through the air. Several others were severely injured. The ride's manufacturer says excessive corrosion is what led to that malfunction. Tonight, our Inspecting the Inspectors investigation takes us to South Carolina, a state that took a drastic measure after a fatal accident of its own.
Our Katie Farrell joins us tonight after going on an inspection, with the top 3 ride officials. Katie?
Mike, Colleen, good evening. You know, there are some glaring differences between Ohio's ride inspection program and South Carolina's. For example, Ohio permits 3,765 rides per year, 5 times as many as South Carolina's 750. But South Carolina has triple the amount of inspectors who look at rides, 25 to Ohio's 8. South Carolina ride officials tell me they're not perfect. They say a fatal ride accident on their watch back in 2011 led to some big changes in how they inspect their inspectors.
7 years ago, a kiddie train flew off the tracks in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
It was pretty bad.
Killing a boy and injuring more than a dozen others.
Way beyond more than what I expected.
After that, Deputy Director Jim Knight says the state took a hard look at its program.
Certifications had not been maintained. I don't think, attention to detail was there. Leadership in the program was not there.
Fast forward to today, and South Carolina now has one of the most aggressive ride inspection programs in the country.
We redoubled our efforts and our commitment to this program.
Robert Maxwell is South Carolina's chief ride inspector. He's been doing this for 27 years.
I put a lot on my shoulders, Katie. I take this very serious. And I do look at this, that kids will be riding, even my children.
Since October, I've requested an on-camera interview with the Ohio Department of Agriculture's ride inspection program at least 7 times. Every request was denied. One phone call got me full access to South Carolina's program.
Bottom line, we are public servants and we work for the public. They're our ultimate bosses, and they should know, what we're doing.
I met the state's top 3 ride officials at a South Carolina theme park to show me how they do inspections. Here, one of 19 special inspectors licensed by the state looks at a ride before one of 6 state inspectors does a second inspection.
The more eyes that have a chance to look at that ride, we think it's going to make for a better safety experience.
Knight told me the state has hundreds of ride manuals on file for inspectors to study, to learn about every bolt, wheel, and pump. In Ohio, inspectors have to request manuals from an operator.
We can't just count on the manufacturer to be responsible for safety. We can't just count on the ride operator. We've got to do our part too.
Before coming to Ohio in July, the fireball passed inspection in South Carolina in April, 3.5 months before it broke apart in the air. After the accident, Knight says South Carolina now has rules about the ride and others like it.
To date, as of today, the fireball is still not permitted to be operated in South Carolina.
The fireball manufacturer blamed the accident on corrosion. I asked Knight how difficult is it to detect.
It's going to take someone with a good eye, a lot of experience to identify that.
Ride officials didn't hesitate to show me just how much faith they have in their program.
This year, did you personally inspect this ride?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And you feel safe enough to ride it yourself?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, absolutely.
Knight says if you want to operate in South Carolina, you better buckle up.
I'll tell you this, if you're coming to South Carolina, you better have your game on.
Another difference in programs is while South Carolina follows all of the voluntary safety standards set out by the industry, the Ohio Department of Agriculture tells me it only follows some. Mike, Colleen.
Interesting.
Yeah, you've been working on this so diligently. Has the ODA here made any changes since that accident?
I've asked that question. They've not answered that question, but I have been working with 2 Ohio lawmakers who tell me they want to take matters into their own hands, trying to make a difference. We will have their story exclusively coming up on Tuesday.
All righty, look forward to that.
Thanks so much,
Thanks, Katie.
Katie.
Well, for more on the fireball accident and our push to get answers about how future accidents can be prevented, we invite you to our website, NBC4i.com.
Well,